Hello. Hello. It is I reporting from Scott, reporting from where I've been living the last year in this house, mostly. Excuse me, I have a little pollen in the throat. Spring is here. I've been working outside, so if I do cough a little bit or sniffle, forgiveness, please. You know, I thought I've been working here really hard for about a year. In fact, I think yesterday is the 1-year anniversary of the first day I worked here and started clearing the land here at the place where I'm staying. And, you know, I had spent, for some of you know that I had spent about 4 years clearing land by folks at a place I call Havenwood in northwest Georgia from 2019 after my last peace walk through 2023. And I made some videos of all that work and put them up online on my YouTube and my Rumble channels. And I was working here, and it's somehow even more magical. And so I thought it would be nice to give you guys a spring tour of what I've done so far in the last year. I didn't do a before video, unfortunately. Pretty much every area of land that you're about to see was completely blocked off and choked out, and you couldn't even see 10 feet in. Like, for example, this sugar maple right there, that really pretty sugar maple right there. You could not see that tree from the driveway here where I was standing. And you couldn't see in there at all, and the growth was so thick it was over the driveway. So things were pretty interesting here when I got here, and I just started working and kept plugging away, and now some amazing things have happened. So I think I will take you on several little tours. This first tour will be on the path that basically runs around the house. That is part of a trail system of the Pier Cove Ravine, which is a public land trust for a beautiful ravine that borders the property here, that's open to the public. And so the path that runs around the house essentially were already here, and they were easement paths to get to the trail system for the ravine for the public. So I'll turn the camera around and I'll just walk around the house on these trails, and that'll be kind of set the stage, and then we'll move on from there. So enjoy, and I'll give some commentary. I'll turn around here. Forgive the quick pan. If that made people dizzy, I apologize. As you'll be able to tell with these videos, I don't really know what I'm doing. I did that one series of videos at Havenwood, and then this, and I pretty much I'm a GoPro uber novice. But all of this was just a mess in here, and so I kind of basically what I did to the land on all the sections was I kind of walked through and intuitively pruned out all the saplings that were choking it out, took out all the brambles, all of the weeds, chopped up all of the dead pines that were standing and dropped them, chopped them up, hauled them off by hand, sometimes making little critter piles, which you'll see in a second, and sometimes kind of dropping them over into gullies or the ravine itself. And then I individually pruned every single tree. So every single tree you see has been individually, uniquely pruned, with the goal of nature taking over now and just doing its thing. You know, this land was all clear-cut completely to rebuild the Chicago fire in the 1890s. So there was not a single tree here 130 years ago. And it boomed back really nicely, obviously. And so when nature responds to clear-cutting, it responds with chaos, uber-growth, to try to recover as quickly as possible. And so what I'm trying to do with this work is give nature a boost, to try to give her a little head start. So, I mean, this is what it would have looked like on its own, maybe in 150 or 200 years. And so now, hopefully, that energy will be saved, and she can now take over Mother Nature and just do her thing. This is a dead cherry right here. That's got to go. That's going to fall on somebody. I'll have to cut that down, chop that up into firewood. That's sugar maple there, that's firewood. So on we go. So this is the property line from the property owners who I'm working for. Some long-standing friends of mine, really nice people, who said, hey, you do this, come do this. And I said, okay. The property line is pretty much, I'm standing on it right now. So as I move forward, this bench is part of the ravine trust, the Pier Cove Ravine land trust. And so somebody just redid this bench just about 3-4 months ago in one day. Somebody did that, a guy named Bill, I think, did that in one day. Unbelievable. Anyway, so I'm on the property line now. The property line runs pretty much right there. So even though this corner will all belong to the ravine trust, and so the path goes in a huge mile-long loop up here all the way around, and then there's another smaller path down in the ravine. It's really quite lovely. But this corner was a mess. It was absolutely a mess. And this corner actually was the corner that inspired me to want to do this. For years I've actually had this in the back of my mind and wanted to do this. And so it was a great joy to get in here and clean this up. So this is quite lovely. That tree there was a white oak, that little stump right there, and that was a dead red oak. So I got some firewood out of it, which I split by hand for the fire pit for the house. So I'll show you that coming up here. And so the Ravine Trust Trail heads that direction. Quite lovely, a beautiful path. And then the ravine itself, as you can see down here, is just amazing. And there are some trees in here that I guarantee you they did not cut 130 years ago when they cut to rebuild Chicago, because there are some monster trees down there that have to be over 130 years old. Anyway, let's see how we're doing here. Oh, we're doing great. Yeah, so moving along, there's the ravine down there. And this was one of the first piles that I made, my little critter piles, as I was pruning out this area. And of course it was so thick back here, I had no idea even where the property line was, and I thought this was the pile, I thought this pile was far away. You know, I had no idea how far I was going to go. And so all the piles that I had thought in the beginning I was pulling so far away from the house are really close, because I didn't realize how much work I was going to be able to get done. But this pile and that pile are older, and they're melting down really nicely. This pile over there that we walked past is much more recent. And the critters love them. You know, they're immediately filled with all sorts of animals who live in them. And it's neat to see how nature responds when everything gets opened up, because, you know, the predator animals can hunt easier. The prey animals have safe houses to live in. Everybody's happy. The deer are happy. Songbirds everywhere. A Cooper's hawk moved in and lives here. And here's that firewood I was talking about that I split. And I made a little firewood rack there for the fire pit for the house, which is lovely. Nice little fire pit, little chairs there. Yeah. Yeah, so I cleared all this out, opened it up. And again, this was a spur, kind of an easement spur to help the public get to those loops of the paths, the ravine paths that I was talking about that are open to the public. And so this is technically an easement that is open to the public. And I think because of the work I've done, I think it is now officially open again. Unclear about that, actually. The neighbors use it. You see people walking it regularly with their dogs, and the neighbors have really nice neighbors, and they enjoy it. This promontory was a complete mess, and I just, even though I'm walking on the property line right now, I'm literally on the property line. I just fixed it, you know, because it looks so terrible. I mean, you couldn't even see 10 feet in, so I just fixed it, and it looks really lovely now. Really pretty, especially with the light today is really nice. Yeah. So here are some hemlocks. There are quite a few hemlocks. So if you, in the video, if you see these silver tags on the trees, that just means that hemlock has been inoculated against the hemlock virus or fungus. Something kills hemlocks, and so they have an inoculation against it. So most of the hemlocks here have been inoculated, which is nice. There were tons, this was all choked out, there were tons of dead pine trees in here, really big ones. Very fun dropping them, by the way, lots of fun. Made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, but I got pretty good at it over time. And first tree I dropped, I think, was May 28th of last year. It was a tiny one right over there on the edge of the lawn. But then I moved to these guys. I think there are like 9 big ones in here. And to then provide an additional screen, because it opened everything up. They were dead and they needed to come out. But the owners wanted, my friends wanted a screen. So we bought these Emerald's Giants, green giant arborvitae, which apparently are deer resistant and grow really fast. So those 3 trees will get to be about 15 feet wide and about 40 feet tall and provide a really nice screen right there for the house, which is lovely. And this little bench right here is part of the Ravine Trust bench system. And it was just here. And I think I'm the only one who uses it. But it's perfect now because this has turned into just a wonderland. And again, there was nothing pretty about this when I got here. It was a mess. And so I gathered some stuff over in that little critter pile and another one there. And then this one here I kept low on purpose so the view wouldn't be obscured when you walk this path. And we're still walking pretty much on the property line, literally. And this took a ton of work. This is one of the last things I recently did because I kept putting it off because there was just there were huge pine trees in there I dropped. So that was just filled with like huge, monstrous, 100-pound pine tree rounds that I had chainsawed up. It was really, really something. And yeah, so now it's looking nice, really nice. And then if you hear some machinery running now, the neighbors are putting in a fire pit and a stone fire pit and a seating area in the back of their house. But I think the guys have gone home for the day. No, I see them still over there, but hopefully it won't be too loud when I pass by. Here's where I put a lot of the stuff. I kind of artistically tumbled the pine rounds down here and tried to cover it with some smaller brush to make it a little more artistic. This is going to be a new easement going down into the ravine to connect with the path system. And what we're on right now is a spur of the old easement trail. And this corner was really naked, especially because there was a huge dead red pine here that I dropped for the neighbor. This is on the neighbor's property now. Really nice people. So I, with the owner's permission, went and bought 4 more green giant arborvitae here and here and here and here to kind of fill in this space. And I transplanted some natural, that's a red spruce, and that's a red spruce, that's a white fir. So that should look really, really nice in a year or two, hopefully. Now we're curving back onto right now we're crossing from the neighbors back onto my friend's land. And here's that. I think this is a red spruce, and I think that's the white fir, and you kind of see those two all over the place. They're really nice. So I try to either transplant them or tend them whenever I can. This pile is a monster, probably the biggest critter pile I've ever made. And it's mostly pine rounds covered by sticks. And when the leaves fall on it, it'll disappear. There's a gully there, so when you're walking the trail that we just walked over by that bench that we passed, the sight line is like this high, so you can see right over it to the road. So it's intentionally the space I put most of the stuff, because it's out of sight line for most of the walk. And when it gets covered by leaves, it'll just start to melt away, which is cool. So I think I'll take a left right up here, and then this video will slowly come to a close as I head back towards the house. Again, this is all really messy in here, and it's opened up really nicely. The deer love to come out here and just hang out. You'll see deer in here just sleeping, resting all the time, which is really nice. And this redbud is gorgeous. And I bought that dwarf red spruce right there. Planted it there to kind of fill in that space. And I've been trying to plant rhododendrons here. That's a new one. Some of the ones from last year got really munched on by the deer. And the drought was bad last year too. But I think this year they should, these three here, I hope, will fill in and eventually look a lot like that. In about 5, 6, 7 years is the hope. And then this is the driveway. The road drives in here, dead ends, and then this is the driveway. And there's another little path that goes off there, but that'll be the next video. We'll walk this path back to the house and then end this video, I think. And this area here next to the driveway was also just a wreck, and so it really opened up really nicely. It is quite aesthetic now, quite pretty. And this is gonna be something. I really have plans for this, to make a really nice garden walk here, to put like garden plants and landscaping features on each side of this path. This cherry tree is a recent plant. I planted it 2 or 3 days ago. So now it looks like there was a cherry tree here and the path went around the cherry tree, when of course the opposite is true. But this little gazebo area is going to be really nice. I don't know exactly what to do with it, but it's a work in progress, and I may not get much further than it is now. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That's a rose bush that miraculously survived without that cage last year. I don't know how. It was almost dead, and then it came back with a real vigor. So I got that cage, so now it can just sit there all year and the deer won't eat it, and get really nice and vibrant and big. And when it outgrows the cage, it should be healthy enough to withstand the hungry deer. This is the last major commentary on this video. This is where they cut through, you can tell, not very artistically. They took a beautiful beach out right there just to get the gazebo in, when they put the gazebo in, unfortunately. So I got another green giant right there that'll get, like, 40 feet tall over time, and about 15 feet, and kind of fill that naked space there, which is nice. And then that is the loop. So those are the paths. Those are the paths that were here when I got here. And those are the areas that I pretty much worked on first. I really started around the house first. And all of the woods that you saw in those videos are quote unquote done. Everything's been pruned, everything's been stacked, everything's been hauled, everything's been chainsawed. And I intend to let all of those spaces essentially just stay. And yeah, that's that. That's tour number 1. How long did we do it? I did it in under 20 minutes. Oh my God. Nice. Okay, well, I think that's the basic tour. And then there are about 40 plus more acres that head that direction. And I made some really cool paths on it, and that are just kind of gorgeous. I mean, it's unbelievable. I still can't believe it, how beautiful this land is, because you couldn't tell when I got here because it was all choked out, But anyway, I want to show you guys. So I'm going to end this video with a bye-bye and a thanks and peace. And I will now walk the short loop that kind of runs parallel with the driveway and show you that path that I made. Yeah, I'll do that next. Okay, peace.